So welcome everyone to our poetry workshop. I'm so glad to have you here. Um, I'm going to switch over the screen. I'm going to share the screen. I'm just so impressed with our 3 live speakers up there. Okay, so I'm going to share our screen for a moment. Share. And I'm going to show you our presentation for the day. Well, that's not it. That's what we're doing. Here we go. So, welcome to our poetry session. We're going to be talking about how fitting into the theme of Under One Sky. And some of you have worked on sculptures for that. Some of you have worked on photography projects for that. And now we're going to do a collective poem under that same sort of theme. And also in that creation, it's going to sort of get to the heart of what it means to do spoken word poetry. And that is sort of speaking your truth, the emotions, the things that you are feeling, being ready to express those and access those and not be afraid of that. So in our opening session, to try to get in the mind frame of that language, we have a Padlet here. I'm going to put the link in chat. So you guys can access it. And I think it's always good to sort of get our minds wrapped around what we're going to talk about, sort of front load our brains and access the emotions and the feelings and what we know to sort of focus in on one idea. Very much similar to what Lorenzo Gomez was talking about is the central idea that we're exploring. And today that's being a collective voice, one voice together, and the kinds of things that we can say together. So when you link on that, you're going to get to this page. And I put in blue the students that have already shared. I would very much like you to put your name on your contribution because we'll be grabbing lines for that and adding them to our poems later. Here's the prompt in case you forget what it is as you're writing. Sometimes I do that. I start thinking and I forget what I was supposed to write about. So I have to go back to the prompt. And that is, what is it that makes you feel heard? And what is it that makes you feel like your words are understood? So if you would think about that, and I'm going to play some music and just take a few minutes and answer that question by contributing to the Padlet. Also, make sure your boxes don't layer on top of people's. You might have to move them. Sometimes they want to all stack over off the sides. So you have to find a place in the sky to put your contributions. Okay, very nice. Some beautiful words here. I'm going to stop sharing a minute and hand over the presentation to our three lovely poets in the picture here live at the museum. And they're going to talk a little bit about their responses and yours.
So we've a lot of stuff
You
about.
need me to share it?
Oh no, we can see it about how people feel heard when they talk about things that they like, or if they talk to somebody out there who listens to them. We saw that last
Oh,
time.
I got to turn the music off. Hold on.
We we saw that last time as well. And
Okay, I don't know if we can hear you. Bella, try again.
hello?
I can hear her.
We can just.
You guys hear Bella?
I think we saw a lot of things about people feeling heard when there's someone else who they can see listening to them, who's like acknowledging them, who's maybe laughing with them or talking to them.
Connor here said he was laughing and crying.
Yeah, whenever you're with someone and they understand how you feel, it's kind of the best feeling. And I think you can relate to, if you can relate to someone, I think that really makes you feel like you're not alone and can relate to someone else.
Yeah, and like if you have someone to talk to about things that are like troubling you, you can also release all the emotions that you may not show other people because you may not be as close to them. And so it's really helpful to have a good outlet, I guess, is what a lot of people are trying to say. And so it's definitely good that you guys know that there's someone out there who you should talk to. And when you do, you're feeling heard by that person you do talk to.
That was lovely, y'all. Do you want to keep going? Do you have something? You're good? Okay. So I really appreciate that summary of what we heard. So when we're talking about poetry and we're talking about spoken word, a lot of these ideas that you've presented here can be shared with others through this idea of poetry. And a lot of times when you think you don't have a voice and you share it in writing, you can get that message out to an audience in a really refreshing way and in a really new way. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I think this is the one. If I do this, can you see? Nope, that's what we're adding to. Can you see this? Under one sky? Yay, okay. So we're going to experiment with a poetry form. This is optional, but I thought I would give you the opportunity to do that because some people feel safe within the structure of a poem. If that's not you, you can do it free flow, and that's okay too. But I wanted to have the option of you having both ways of writing in your toolbox for this next exercise. And so this is a poetry form called a cinquain poem. Was invented by a woman named Adelaide Crapsey. And I like her name. And I like that she's a woman that invented this. And most poetic forms were invented by men. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was inspired by the Japanese haiku. And when you link haiku together, you can create a long strand of haiku poems to make a longer poem. Adelaide had that same idea with the cinquain poems. So what we're going to do is take each of your little tiny poems and we're going to create a collective community piece that is focused on this idea of one voice under a sky and a tribute to our city. All those ideas presented into this one body. And so each poem will stand alone in its form. It will belong to you, but also belong to this collective piece. So the Sinkate poem is in syllables like the haiku, only it goes 2 syllables, 4 syllables, 6 syllables, 8 syllables, 2 syllables. And Bella and Leela are going to read 2 examples that they wrote, just so you get an idea about what that sounds like.
Community. I am for a city that thinks it's a town, prideful, a belonging. We wrap our arms around what a small world our little town, our home.
Culture. My home, full of smells, full of different city sights, a place full of music and delights, my loves.
Okay, beautiful, thank you. And so you can see their poems, 2 syllables here, 4 syllables, 6 syllables, 8 syllables, 2 syllables. Aren't they lovely? And it's kind of a cool thing because once you start writing them, they just kind of start pouring out. Okay, so we're going to link. We're going to have about 10 minutes of writing time. And remember, you don't have to write. If this makes you nervous, like on the spot, you don't have to write a sinking poem. You can just write words. You can write a list. You can write a phrase. You can write a sentence. You can write 2 sentences. Whatever it is that you feel in response to this idea, you write it on this document. And we're going to take all of those and put them into a poem. So I'm going to click on this. One Sky, One Voice. These are the poems that were written earlier today. I'm going to go down and make room for you guys.
I did see like a 1-line poem option. That's just writing 1 sentence, right?
Yes, you can write just 1 sentence, or you can write multiple ones. Or you can write a bunch of 1-sentence poems linked together. Whatever feels right for you in response to this idea.
Alright.
Okay? I'm going to put the link into chat. The important thing is that you not judge. In spoken word, there's not, I want you to I want you to feel like you can be honest here, and you can just respond with that emotion, that feeling. I'm going to play the music. Whatever it is that you feel that you should write, you write it here, unedited and raw. And then we take that and we move it into a collective piece, if that makes sense. Okay? And you'll see an example of the beginning of a collected piece in a few minutes, after we spend some time writing. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. At 3:32, I'll come back to you, and we'll look at your write. Remember, please put your name and school and your grade underneath your poem, just like this. You're responding to this phrase. That's a jumping off piece. Oh, one thing also. When you get a prompt in a creative writing assignment, it's kind of like a diving board. You can do a triple gainer, you can do a backflip, you can do a cannonball, you can do a stomach flop, you can do whatever it is that you do off that diving board, right? You can say, no, thank you, I'm going to go back to the edge and just do my lap swim. So, okay, okay. So we have 5 minutes of writing time, which is fast. Okay, I'll play the music right now. So our time is a little bit shorter for presenting, but you have this link. And so you can keep adding to your pieces if you would like to. If you feel like you didn't get enough time, I'm going to hand this over. I shared with you that we were going to read an example of a Sin Came poem linked together thematically. And so we're going to hear from our poets at the museum, and they're going to share this with you as we end for today.
We did fix the order.
I'm going to close my, hold on, let me stop the music. Okay.
Miss Stengel, can you see Connor on there? Like his name when you scroll down? Yeah, okay,
Yay.
yeah, it fixed. All right, we're gonna start.
Here we go.
Culture. I want a city that shows the beauty of its culture. My home full of smells, full of different city sights, a place full of music and delights. My loves.
Tacos. I am for a city that smells of love. It's warm, evoking feelings. Can scents be warm, loving? Breakfast tacos that smell like home. I'm home.
Yesterday. I am for a city that holds hands. Stop. Think. Can you recall when you lifted me up? No, I have not forgotten you, my friend.
I want a city that makes me feel comfortable to walk alone at night.
Seasons. I am for a city that shows the beauty of its seasons. Cool breezes, hot blazing sun, heats up the city streets, it cools down the city nights. No snow.
Sadly.
Union. I am for a city that is intertwined with nature. Nature. Intertwined mess. Trees and buildings as one. So the land will meet with the sky. Union.
Colors. I want a city that shows the beauty of its colors. A whirl, art and city life, places where you imagine. A place where it becomes a living thing. Our creations.
I am for a city that shows happiness and community.
I'm for a city that supports families expressing their love to one another.
Community. I am for a city that thinks it's a town, prideful, a belonging. We wrap our arms around. What a small world, our little town, our home.
City sky. I am for a city that has wide open spaces. Open, wide spaces here, in the morning sky, high above the building's shadow, peaceful.
Of man and nature. I'm for a city that is simple yet efficient. Simple, efficiency, born from circumstances, of Mother Nature and mankind, born young.
I want a city that shows the beauty of its nature.
Parks. I am for a city that is green. A park, a place that's green. A wanting that I need, a memory that I can keep, a dream.
Solar rays. I am for a city that is well lit by the sun above. The sun, a bright lit in. The heavens above and shining light on a city below, lightly.
I want a city that feels like the comfort of home.
Today, I am for a city that mourns together. Last night, somebody hurt, and our city hurt too, but we feel each and every smile, caring.
Our world. I want a city that shows the beauty of its own world. Our world, a place full of life, lights that can light up our sky, a city full of love and happiness. We are home.
No sleep. I am for a city that never sleeps. No sleep. All dark nights, the unrelenting dreams, the sleepless times where I can't think, restless.
Look up. I am for a city that looks to the sky. In dark, the North Star guides. At sunrise, remember, don't despair, Look up to the sky. Have hope.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take your poems and we're going to weave them together into the larger poem. So again, if you feel like you didn't get to finish, the link to that page where you're putting your words is here. I'm going to put it right here again, just in case you didn't see that. And we're going to create a collective poem with the whole Cast Tech network. And that's very exciting. So I'm going to move this to the moderator to take over for our closing. Beautiful, y'all. Thank you.